Hello there guys, Francis Gray here, and today we're going to be making a resin kit of Goose from Mad Max. Okay guys, so this is a 1:6 scale resin kit of Goose, or a character called Goose from the Mad Max franchise, played by an Australian actor called Steve Bisley. And I've done a bit of digging around online, and this seems to have been sculpted by a Mr. Moto Sugai, I think that's pronounced. Sorry if I've mispronounced that. I've probably butchered it. Sorry about that. Yeah, I believe it was later shipped to the US, and it was produced as a kit by a company called Needful Things. I don't know if they've got a website. I think it's just a Facebook page. So I'll add a link in the description bar below, and you can go along, and if you're interested in this kit, then you can send them a message, and hopefully they can still help you. So yeah, getting back to the kit. This is a commission. This isn't actually my kit. This is just what a client sent me to paint up. So yeah, let's have a look at the pieces. So let's start with the base. So as you can see there, that's the Goose logo. That's the underside. So there's quite a lot of sharp edges on here, but you usually get that with resin kits anyway, especially on like the bases, like oval surfaces like that. So this alone needs sanding down. As far as air bubbles or holes, I can't actually see any jumping out. Oh, well, there's probably on the sides here, but after that's been sanded down, I'll just fill that in with filler probably. It does seem to be thicker on one end compared to the other. So as you can see there, it's a little bit slanted, so that might need correcting. So let's get to the face. So as you can see there, it's a pretty good likeness of the character. There's a seam line running down each side past the ear. The ears aren't too bad actually. Normally, when it's like a parting down the middle, the resin messes up the ear part, but that's not actually that too bad. So that just needs a little bit of sanding down. Okay, here's the torso. Now I've been told that he's missed the badge. Apparently there's supposed to be a badge right here, and the client has lost it, so I need to replace that. So we'll do that at a later stage. Same again, seam line going down either side. That's fine because that's just part. It looks like it's part of the jacket, so it's not that bad actually. It's more like going up past the collar here that would need to be sanded down. But yeah, all in all, so far so good. This kit seems to come with its own kind of peg system, which is quite rare actually for resin kits. I haven't seen it that often, so it obviously took someone a little bit more effort to do that, so that's kind of cool. So get into the legs, quite a bit of resin skin on the bottom of that one. So same again, connection seam line, just looks like it's part of the trousers. Well, I need to refer back to image, because if this is just a normal pair of trousers, then that should be fine, but if this is like a leather, I suppose, then I might have to sand all this down. So I need to check that before I can comment on that. But all in all, pretty good detail on it. Let's have a look at the arms. So again, quite a big bit of seam line there. As you can see there, it's kind of raised up. No big deal, just needs grinding down, or sanding down, should I say. Same with this one. Yeah, this part here doesn't seem to be as formed very well I can't remember in the film if there's any battle damage to this shoulder pad. I don't think there is, so that will probably need a bit of Abe's epoxy sculpting over it. So far so good, I suppose. The gloves, yeah, there's quite a lot of sanding work on that needs doing. This one, yeah, still needs a lot of sanding, but it's not as bad. Let's have a look at the gun. So obviously the gun comes in the holster. Now this part's going to be a problem where the trigger is. So obviously that's supposed to be hollow. So I'm gonna have to take a fine drill bit and take my time sanding that hollow. But same again, not too bad, I suppose. Right, getting to his left foot, I believe. Or is that a right foot? Oh, the peg system suggests that it's, yeah, it's his left. So a bit of resin skin there needs to come off. Looks like part of the shoe here hasn't formed correctly. So Abe's epoxy to the rescue. Bit more resin skin. This foot seems to be a lot better than the other one. And then last but not least, this I believe this was cast in white metal. It's a little bit bendy and flexible, so I have to be careful with this because white metal does not like to be bent. And yeah, so same again, there's a bit of a seam line there, so I don't know if I'm going to go ahead and use this. I might see if I can 3D print one off that's a bit better, so we'll see, we'll get along. So yeah, so stay tuned. Hopefully this is going to be a good build, and yeah, first things first, I'm going to take my time and I'm going to sand all these parts. Okay guys, let's get sanding. Okay guys, so apparently this is supposed to connect into this, well, supposed to be a hole here, but as you can see that's not very round. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually drill a little bit hole, just a little bit under there, using a step bit, which is that there, and I'm just going to lightly drill a hole here and then try and make this fit a bit better. Okay guys, so you can see there, that's fitting a lot better now. It's not perfect. I might need to put a bit of waves in there so it's a perfect connection, but for the most part that's pretty good for now. Okay, so for the next part, what I'm going to do is I need to add some missing details. There's a few little air bubbles here and there, which has cost a little bit of detail to be missing. So as you can see there, well, I don't know if it's picking up or not, but there's the ends of the belt buckles are missing. Same with this one. It's casted at the bottom, but then there's been little bits of air trapped in the top, so the resin hasn't had nowhere to go. So these all need to be filled in. And as we've seen before, there's a big chunk of detail on the bottom of this boot here. So what I'm going to do for the next stage is I'm going to go around with the wood filler and I'm going to fill in some of the microscopic holes, and then for the bigger stuff we'll probably use milliput or Aves epoxy. Okay guys, so we'll leave them to dry.
6 hours later.
Okay, so now that the wood filler is dry, we need to take off the excess. So we've only just filled in the holes. So I'm going to use a nail file and take my time and get rid of the excess. Okay guys, so I've gone ahead and I've mixed some milliput, so now it's time to add some of the missing details. Okay guys, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to leave these to dry, and then hopefully we can file them down and make them a bit tidier, and then we can think about grey priming it. Okay guys, so here we are on Thingiverse, and if you don't know what Thingiverse is, basically it's a free website where you can download pre-made 3D files ready to print. So yeah, I managed to find this cup badge, which is the part that is currently missing off this kit. So thankfully somebody made one. So this was uploaded by user Hunt Freaks on the 3rd of March 2017, and it does look like a really good likeness actually of the badge. So I'll download this now and upload it into Matter Control. Okay guys, as you can see here, it's now uploaded into Matter Control. So it's it actually is a nice, detailed, crisp file. So everything's where it's supposed to be. So I'm really happy with that. So what I'll end up doing is, because I don't want it too big, because obviously it's got to go on the model. So this is going to have to be shrunk down to 1:6 scale. So I'm going to shrink down and make a couple of different files in different sizes. We'll print them all off and then we'll choose which one fits best. Okay guys, so here is the badge 3D printed. Now it's really on the thin side, but obviously it has to be. So I don't know if the camera's picking that up or not. So yeah, so this basically is just going to get super glued to here. Now I've gone ahead and I've lightly scored the back of this with a scalpel, and I've done a tiny little bit on this, so the glue will hopefully hold onto the scratches and keep it in place. Okay guys, I'll just leave that to dry now. Okay guys, so I need to go ahead and I need to add this arm in place via the shoulder, but as you can see there, it's a bit of a loose connection with this to this. So I've just mixed a little bit more green milliput. I'm going to put a bit in here and then push it in, and then hopefully we have a really good connection. Okay guys, so while I've got some milliput left over, I'm going to go in and I'm going to emphasise the shoulder pad a little bit more. Okay guys, so we'll go ahead and we'll leave that to dry. Okay guys, so for the next part I'm going to grey prime the head. Okay, so now that we've gone ahead and we've grey primed the head, now is a good opportunity to lay some base coats of just a generic skin colour. So I'm going to go in with some Humbrol number 61 flesh colour. Okay guys, so I'll set this down now and leave it to dry. Okay guys, so I've obviously got the torso part and the leg part. Now there is a little bit of milliput pushed in the middle there, but I would like a bit of a better connection. So I've got a little bit of milliput rolled out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get a scalpel and I'm going to lightly score a zigzag pattern on the underside of this. And then I'm going to push some of this in here, push this in place so this spreads out around here so I've got a better connection, and hopefully all these little zigzags will make an impression in the clay, and then that'll be a stronger bond when we go to glue it. Okay guys, so that should make for a much better fit when we go to glue it. Okay guys, so for the next part I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to lay some base colours for the head. Okay guys, so for the next part I'm going to go in with some red watercolour, and I'm just going to add a few little bits of darker shading. Okay guys, same thing again, but this time I'm going to go in with a little bit of black. Okay guys, we'll go ahead and we'll leave that to dry for a bit. Okay guys, so for the next part, because the character's got blonde hair, I'm going to start with a darker base tone, so I'm going to go over his hair with medium brown.
guys, we'll go ahead and leave that to dry.
Okay guys, so now that both arms are glued and the seams are filled in on both sides and the badge is added, we've obviously got a connection point at the top and we've obviously got a connection point at the bottom. I think this can now be grey primed. Okay guys, so for the next part there's a problem with this base. Now obviously this is the base that it says Goose, where the main figures needs to stand on. Now whoever moulded this moulded it on an uneven surface, so as you can see here it's higher to the point here but a lot lower to the point here. Now that's going to be a problem because obviously it needs to be nice and flat so the figure can stand on top. Otherwise he'll stand straight but the base will be slanted and it'll just be all off. So what we need to do is we need to top up this resin here and have it nice and flat. So what I did was I had this spare round piece of I suppose like bamboo wood fastened with this clip up here. Now, I believe this might have to do something to do with sewn, maybe. I think it's like a crochet thing, I'm not too sure. But instead of throwing it away, I thought it might come in handy. And thankfully, I can use it for this because this just fits perfect. So I got lucky here. So on the inside here, we've got some blue tack, which basically just fills in the seam so no resin seeps in through the sides. I've also had to bridge a gap here, but I've put this on the higher side so all the resin will flow to the lower side. So hopefully that should be okay. But just to make sure, we're going to pour the resin on this while this is in here. So it's a silicone mould, and hopefully it should contain the resin. So yeah, so what I'm going to use is Polycraft casting resin, part A, part B, equal measures. I'm just going to pour them into an old spray can tub, and I'm going to mix both parts with an old like lolly stick or popsicle stick, and then just pour it in, leave it a few hours, and then hopefully we've got a nice flat base. Before we go ahead and do that though, I'm going to take a scalpel and I'm going to lightly add some score marks on the underside of the base, purely for the new resin to hold on to. Okay guys, that should be good enough for that. So let's get mixing. Okay guys, I think that should do the trick, so we'll leave it to dry and hopefully we've got a fantastic new base.
Two hours later.
Okay guys, so it's been a couple of hours, so let's see how it's turned out. Okay guys, so as you can see there, that is a lot smoother. So that has worked brilliantly. Yay! So I'm really happy with that. So for the next part we can file this down or sand this smooth, and then we can think about grey priming it. Okay guys, so that's a lot better now. So next thing we can do is grey prime it. Okay guys, so for the next part, now I wanted to raise this base up because as you can see there, it's still on the fin side, so there's not much room to pin Goose to the base. So what I decided to do was I kept my eyes open for a wooden base that I can glue this part to, and then that would make it a lot thicker and a lot better to house some pins in Goose's feet. So I managed to find this base. So it's just a generic wooden base, but it's the exact same diameter as the Goose logo base. So this will work fantastic. So I've already gone ahead and I've scored the underside of the resin with scalpel. Just went on a zigzag pattern, and then I've also done the same with the wooden base as well. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to mix some epoxy resin part A and part B together on this, and then I'm going to put as much of it on here as I can, and I'm going to put that in place and then hold it in place with some clamps. Okay guys, we'll leave that to dry. Okay guys, that seems nice and steady, so let's go ahead and grey prime it all. Okay guys, so for the next part I need to go ahead and I need to add a pin system to pin him to the base. So in order to do that, I'm going to try and get this part here, which is a piece of sturdy metal, housed on the inside of his foot there. Now you might notice that it's got a bevel end to it. Now the reason for that is I'm going to put some epoxy resin in, and then once it's hardened, this little part at the top will keep it nicely and secure in place. So I've got my drill bit ready. So this is roughly the same size. So I'm going to take my time and I'm going to gently try and erode some resin from here. Okay guys, that was a bit of a tight squeeze, but at least I know it definitely fits. So I'll just put this to one side and then we'll work on this one next, and then hopefully we can epoxy resin it all. Okay guys, so I'm going to do the same, but I'm going to do it with this tiny little bit of metal, and I'm just going to put it on the front part of his boot. Okay guys, that's a decent fit. So for the next part we can epoxy resin. Okay guys, so for the next part I'm going to mix a little bit of epoxy resin part A and part B together, and then I'm going to apply some to the top of the boot, put them in position, and then I'm going to apply two to the peg systems underneath. Okay guys, so I'll go ahead and I'll leave that to dry. Okay guys, it's a pretty good fit, but I do feel like I need to go a tiny bit deeper with this one hole. Okay guys, so as you can see, that fits a lot better. Okay guys, so now that we've gone ahead and we've drilled the holes, now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to give this a quick blast of silver.
Okay guys, this video is getting a little bit on the long side now, so I thought I'd call this part 1 done. So join us back for part 2, where we'll be continuing on with this build, and then we'll be all painting it up, and we'll be adding loads of details. We'll be sealing it in matte varnish to keep the paint job nice and secure, and hopefully we'll have a finished built up product by the end of it. So if you've enjoyed this build so far, please smash that like button and share on Facebook and Twitter, because it helps new people find the YouTube channel, which I'm always appreciative of. Thank you for any help. If you have any comments, comment below and I'll get back to you as soon as possible. And if you haven't already, please hit the subscribe button and hit the notification bell so you don't miss out on future builds. So once again, I'm Francis Gray and this is Goose from Mad Max Resin Kit Build. See you next time.